What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It is I, your host, as always, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new episode review as we're going to go ahead and get into Gotham Knights, episode number 12, the penultimate episode towards the season finale, ladies and gentlemen. I love that word penultimate. Once I understood what penultimate, I used to say the episode before the season finale, but now that I know what the word penultimate means, I absolutely love it. I got to use it every single time. But we're almost to the season finale, which goes ahead and actually drops next week. Not only just the season finale, but the series finale. So I am kind of curious to see how Gotham Knights is certainly going to be wrapping up, as they definitely did a pretty good build up to the season finale. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this particular series ends. Again, we know that this season is canceled after next week's episode. So farewell. Be curious to see how this ends in the sense of, is there a cliffhanger? Do we have the story at least kind of completely wrapped up? I mean, look, honestly, based off of how this episode ended and a lot of the Court of the Owls sort of being taken off the board, with the exception of just Rebecca now, and 4 Talons. Could there be another sect of Court of Owls out there somewhere else? Who certainly knows? But it almost feels like maybe they knew ahead of time that they were just going to get a one-off season, or had like alternate endings of how they would wrap up the show just in case. I don't know if they kind of film that type of stuff and it's like, okay, we're getting canceled, let's shoehorn these 2 episodes in the event of us not having another season. So I am curious if they thought that far ahead and had different alternate endings here, or do we get ourselves a cliffhanger, or does it just wrap itself up nicely in a bow? So I will be really curious to see what happens in next week's episode. But for the most part, in regards to the penultimate episode, really cool build up, some very interesting reveals that actually, like, if we just want to go ahead and dive into just my general thoughts of the episode, if anything, let's go ahead and just actually talk about the general thoughts. So here, the idea of Rebecca's storyline kind of coming a little bit more full circle now for me. I still have my problems with the Rebecca storyline a little bit, but the reveal in here of her being Dr. Leviticus, who we've heard, somewhat about through this particular season, is very eye-opening to me. I love the concept of her being around for like a century or so, being engaged to Alan Wayne, Bruce Wayne's great grandfather. That's a really cool concept to kind of see that, she kind of created all this in the sense of her being the first one, or at least discovering Electrum, and giving them the ability to go ahead and, live forever, sort of thing, and creating the talents and things like that. So I thought it was really fascinating, her story, and how much it just kind of explained so much more, and maybe why she kind of talks down to Lincoln the way that she does, because of how old she is, because of the expertise that she certainly has, right? In regards to being a scientist and creating. And, there is something very poetic to the idea of like, look, I've lived this long, there is a part of me that's still once loved that I haven't been able to kind of reconnect. So it does sort of, again, fill in those, questions that I might have had of like, well, why did they present Rebecca like this at the beginning of the season, along with her and Harvey Dent, only to kind of make this turn that really makes no sense? But when you come to find out that she's kind of fallen in love with Harvey, and that's something that she's kind of exploring in this very long life that she's lived, that's a kind of cool concept to me, and it definitely works. Now, look, I still have a problem with how Rebecca talks down to Lincoln all the time, just because of the fact that I don't feel like this show has showcased Lincoln in that particular in that particular state of mind. Like, I feel like any scenes that we've had with Lincoln, he's kind of like I don't want to say a scene stealer, but there's a lot of gravitas to him when he's on screen, and I've really enjoyed him certainly as a villain in here. I mean, when he's on screen, it's menacing. Something's about to certainly go down. He looks like you can't trust him, sort of thing, right? So, despite the idea of like the Gotham Knights getting the upper hand, type of thing, and Rebecca coming down on him for that, the rest of the show, they really presented him in such a way that I'm like, man, this guy's a pretty cool character. You clearly hate him, right? Like, you love to hate the dude. So to have Rebecca, just just completely shut this dude down. You know what I'm saying? Castrate him anytime she gets the opportunity, calling him an idiot and killing him off at the end of the episode. Like, I'm done with you. Look, it does certainly showcase Rebecca in a certain light, in the sense of how truly dangerous she is, and then getting to understand her background. You can see why she certainly makes the decisions that she does. But I'm just like, dude, at the expense of Lincoln, man. Like, I personally would have loved the other side of things, to see them as like a couple running the Court of Owls and just having sort of that power, you know what I mean? And being on the same page and hand in hand with one another, sort of thing. That would be cool, because then, now for me, that would certainly show like the force behind the Court of Owls, you know what I mean? Because now you got these two menacing characters. But look, that's not the direction that they certainly went in. And so I am appreciative of this episode when it comes to Rebecca's storyline. Her now being Dr. Leviticus really does open the doors even more. And I will say this too, as performance wise, she does a great job of feeling like the victim at times, right? But then she definitely has these scenes where it's like mad scientist, big eyes sort of staring you down, like just completely psycho chick, you know what I mean? So she's doing a marvelous job. The actress that's playing Rebecca, I really do enjoy her on screen also. I think she's doing an incredible job. And so Rebecca is growing on me, but I'm like, man, at the expense of Lincoln, I just wish that they had approached that relationship a little bit different. But that's pretty much it. But in regards to Rebecca, but great reveal, honestly, if you ask me. And the concept of the court, the owls are in the house, comes back once again as we learn the idea that Alan Wayne's, structures that he certainly built all across Gotham, they have a secret sort of hidden floor that nobody really knows about, and coming to find the revelation that there's one in, what is it Wayne, secret floor in Wayne Manor somewhere, or Wayne Tower, I can't remember. I think it was the Wayne Tower, but really cool concept, the idea that it's like your enemies are living here with you and you not know this entire time. I mean, that's some pretty deep undercover stuff that even Batman certainly didn't know. So I thought that was pretty eye-opening in regards to the whole Alan Wayne situation. So yeah, cool that we've got a little bit of a Talon army now that Rebecca certainly brought other ones back from the past, which I thought was rather interesting. A couple other things off the top of my head that I really enjoyed: the Doula episode. This I appreciated the focus on Doula that they've definitely been having. Last week she kind of shared the screen a little bit with Turner, but the idea of her shooting Harvey Dent was certainly a huge moment for her. Really, that idea of like just kind of like acceptance that from her mom. She hasn't seen her in such a long time. She wants to be around her, clearly. Like, that's your mother at the end of the day, right? And so, Doula clearly has that pull from her mom, with that influence that's getting the best of her, unfortunately, but at the same time, wanting to prove to her mom that, yeah, I'm your daughter, I love you, sort of thing, and don't run away, sort of thing. She's had definitely a traumatized life, for sure. But I really did enjoy just seeing her journey here. The idea of her going back to get her stuff, and look, a part of me was thinking to myself, like, how did she expect the team to react? And then she puts on the show of like being upset about it, to kind of maybe turn her out a little bit. It kind of ruffled my feathers a little bit, but look, it's Doula, right? Like, she's meant to kind of get under your skin, and she certainly knew what she was doing. Like, I don't want to say playing that hard to get sort of thing, but just really kind of testing the waters and testing her limits when she gets back, and she just doesn't handle what she should have certainly expected, or maybe she did expect it, but it certainly still hurt. But I like seeing her make the decision that she eventually does. But man, I gotta tell you, it's just a shame to see her still betrayed by somebody at the end of the day. And unfortunately, it's just her mom who, again, she's gone out of her way to please her, right? And that feels very much like a running connection between a lot of these Gotham Knights. Just what their at-home sort of situation certainly was, right? Like, there's some level of trauma or abuse certainly in there from their parents that they're trying to escape and really become their own people. And so, the fact that you have somebody like Doula having to deal with that by her own mom now, you got to imagine that's certainly going to crush her. But it's definitely going to build her character to something else by the end of this season. So I really did appreciate the Doula episodes in here, and gets to see, unfortunately, the worst side of her mom. Real quick, I don't really care too much about Brody. If there was a con about this episode, Brody, performance-wise, unfortunately, I'm sure he's a great dude. I'm just saying, acting-wise, I don't really care. I didn't really care for the Brody character on screen, honestly. The idea of him joining the team, I didn't really care for also. I thought the reveal of him waking up and startling Stephanie, I mean, she's been worried about this dude forever. I thought that was pretty cool. Seeing him get shot and then resurrected, awesome stuff. But just the performance was just a little bit flat for me, unfortunately. And so, look, I understand that they needed another hand. I wish it wasn't Brody, but hey, you know what? He's with the crew now. It just feels like a last minute throw in. We got to get everybody about. No, I just want to wrap the show off in the characters that I know that have really built up time and commitment towards. Brody's just, he's just thrown in there. It's like, we got to do something cool for Brody. No, you don't got to do something cool for everybody, okay? It's okay. And then I really like the Stephanie and Harper stuff. But look, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I'm like, why does all of their problems have to come in the middle of something? Like, can we just put a pause? Like, let's finish this conversation after the mission, or have all this talk before a mission, right? There was just so many awkward moments between them in regards to just trying to understand the mindset of one another, right? Like, you clearly see Stephanie's got a lot on her mind about other things, but clearly Harper takes it wrong. For me, it's just one of those things. Like, I just don't like the immediate drama. And not to say that it's drama, because look, I'm sure, look, I don't understand what that feeling is like to, discover that there is something else within you that you enjoy, that you just didn't expect, something that has opened up for you. And so, I'm sure Stephanie probably was going through definitely a lot of thoughts. And I'm sure that process is definitely natural in regards to trying to just understand yourself. And so, maybe the first day you're not like, oh yeah, for some people, and so I can understand, I can see Stephanie's certainly perspective. But sometimes it's just like, just shows in general, it feels like sometimes when people just get into relationships, the drama immediately happens. You know what I'm saying? And so it would have been nice for them to just be, but I can understand the point of view they're certainly trying to express. But for Stephanie and Harper, I enjoyed it. I really like seeing these two together. It definitely works. They definitely have chemistry on screen for sure. Like, there's no denying that whatsoever. Stephanie and Harper are amazing on screen together. I just hope that they look. I'm talking like we're going to get ourselves a second season. Like we're going to explore these characters more. Look, we got one more episode left. They can do whatever the hell they want to do at this point. If they just want to, at the end of this, they're just so happy they lived and survived. They just want to have a big makeout session on screen. Hey, go for it. Like, it's the last season, the last episode. They can't do anything to you at this particular point in time. But for the time that we have had, it would have been cool to kind of see where they certainly go from here. But I do enjoy the Stephanie and Harper stuff. But look, overall, really good episode, man. Really enjoyable one to go ahead and push me into the season finale. I will say, the scene, like just some I don't want to say honorable mentions, but just some other things about this episode. The shot sequence of when the Gotham Knights enter the gala where the dinner's at, and the slow camera pullback reveal of the individual Court of Owl members sitting at the table with candlelight and their neck slashed. Incredible shot. I absolutely loved it. So whoever came up with the cinematography for that shot, director-wise, absolute perfection. I will say the aesthetics of the show has been really pleasing. It feels like I'm in Gotham City. It definitely brings that grittiness to it. I've really enjoyed the tone and the vibe of it, if you will. Like, for me, as like a Batman sort of quasi spin-off, or a Batman spin-off in some way or another. I mean, these characters feel very fun. Look, they also did name drop, spoiler, I believe it's Harper that name dropped spoiler when talking with Stephanie. She said something about, let's spoil the party or something, like it'll be spoilers or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool that she was referring to talking to Stephanie when she mentioned that. Yeah, I mean, set designs really look great. You know, it's probably a lot of great angles also. But they really make this I think they make this show look pretty good. Misha Collins as Harvey Dent in this episode, I don't personally feel did too much. He did have a cool little moment here with you know, Rebecca at the end. Now that he's sort of denounced her, saying, "Look, you're not the Rebecca that I fell in love with," sort of thing. Like, you're just turning into some crazy ass, you know, like he definitely told her off, sort of thing, and she did not like that whatsoever. But I do love the concept of 4 Talons. I do think we're gonna get some really great action in next week's episode. I don't see anybody dying, but who knows? I mean, look, Gotham Knights has had some pretty oh shit moments so far, and so I have no idea if anybody's gonna bite the dust. All the Gotham Knights certainly survive. You know, I have a feeling they definitely have some surprises definitely up their sleeve. So we'll see what the season finale of Gotham Knights is certainly going to be like. And listen, if there's anything that I missed, guys, that you guys want to continue to talk about, definitely go ahead and do so in the comment section box below. And we'll definitely go ahead and continue this conversation until next week's episode, the season finale. I'm really excited for this, man. Look, I know I went into the season with no expectations whatsoever, but the show's definitely won me over. I've had an enjoyable time watching it, certainly week to week. I think the pacing has been great. Storytelling has been pretty solid with some really great high moments. Yeah, it's been pretty enjoyable. I didn't follow Batwoman like that on a regular basis. This does feel dark and gritty, like I am kind of watching something Batman related or Batwoman sort of related. So I don't know if this feels anything like Batwoman, but I'm enjoying for certainly what it is, and I think they've impressed me for somebody that definitely doubted it going into the season. But yeah, guys, I think that's everything on my notes that I definitely wanted to talk about with you guys today. And again, if there's anything more you guys want to explore, let me know your thoughts down below. All right, but yeah, guys, other than that, that's gonna do it for me here. So do me a big favor, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.